Hello folks, today we're going to do an unboxing video of an Airski Inflatable Standup Paddleboard. So one of the first things to note is that manufacturers are very emphatic about not using box cutters and razor blades to open these boxes when you get your new product in. They'll tend to cut through the box and into the inflatable board, which is a very bad thing to start off with. What I do is I use scissors. I just open them up and kind of use that as a much duller but still very quick, useful way to open a box. So no razor blades when opening. So first thing to notice when opening this Airski box is that in consideration of the razor blade problem, they have actually put a second piece of cardboard underneath the opening flaps to keep you from cutting through your product if you do cut. So a quick review of what just came out of the box. We've got ourselves a storage bag, adjustable paddle, fin, our phone storage bag, waterproof bag, ankle leash, hand pump, instructions. This is very typical of every kit you're going to get from. We have a nice bag included with the kit. I would consider it a mid-grade quality bag compared to all the other brands that I've seen before. It's not the cheapest, it's not the highest end, but it is still nice, good quality. It will actually fit the paddleboard rolled up inside and all the accessories, which is nice. On the back side, we've got shoulder straps and a waist strap. The waist strap's a little extra nice added in there if you're actually going to be hauling this on your back someplace. So it's both a storage bag for your gear and a transportation bag. Zips up. We also have included in this kit what I would consider to be an average paddle that you're going to get in most kits, an aluminum handled paddle with a kind of a plastic composite blade. So paddle assembly is very easy. We take this bottom piece that has a little spring mechanism. We take this piece here, slide it down, lock it into place. We're going to spin this around over here. This is where we have our locking mechanism. We take the handle, slide her down into here, supposedly. There we go. And lock it, and it's good to go. So if you unlock this, you adjust. That's going to be your standing height. If you slide it back down, lock it, keep it low. This is going to be for if you're just sitting or kneeling on your old canoe style. Again, it says close or open here. So if we pull this out, if we take this, we turn it to the left, we loosen it, we turn it to the right, we tighten it. That becomes important in temperature changes if you're going from a hot beach to a cold northern climate, and this metal can swell or constrict, and you may have to adjust this for your paddle. Another interesting thing about this particular brand's paddle, which I like, is there's a little groove right here which matches the bottom of this paddle. So one issue you have in some paddles is that without that groove, when you put your paddle in and you lock it, the handle wants to spin on you. It's annoying. So this groove guarantees that you're putting it in, locking it, and it's not going to spin at all. I like that. It's a nice little upgrade for the particular paddle. Let's take a look at our hand air pump for inflating our paddleboard. This is a modified bicycle pump. It's the same as going to be with all the other kits. You have an air chamber, you've got your handle for pumping your paddleboard up, you've got a threaded valve that you connect this end of the hose to. Goes around to the other end where you have this unique type of attachment that goes to the paddleboard. This is considered a single action pump, which means that when you pull up, no air actually goes into the board. Only in your downstrokes does air go into the board. It's a little bit slower than the double action pump, but it works all the same and allows you to get high pressure. If you look at the top of the pump, you're going to see a gauge. This is in PSI, or pounds per square inch of pressure. We'll talk more about your pressure point for your paddleboard later. This is also a serviceable pump, so this top part of your pump right here can be unscrewed and pulled out. Inside your main chamber is a rubber piston gasket that can dry out over time, and when it starts to dry out, it'll get squeaky and annoying when you do your pumping of your paddleboard. So this allows you to take that piston out, put some grease inside. It's a serviceable pump, it's not disposable. Let's talk about air pressure in this inflatable paddleboard. Of course, now just rolled out of the package. It is nice, thin, compact, rolls up nice and goes in that backpack. To inflate it, you have a valve. So the board is sealed solid with a seam around the edge. The only in and out to the board is your valve. This valve is not actually glued into the board. All the brands are like this. They have a top piece, a bottom piece in the valve, a gasket in between, and it's just screwed tight. This makes it a serviceable valve. You have a wrench, which we'll show you right here. This funky little doohickey that comes with every kit from every brand. When you open this up, your wrench actually locks in place. This allows you to tighten or loosen this valve. What will happen is after you get a new board like this, you use it a number of times, the material will stretch out, kids will play in the board, whatever, and this valve will loosen up some. And you'll be out in the water on a future paddle and you'll see some air bubbles coming around the edge of your valve. That's not a problem with the board. It's just where this is loosened up and unscrewed a little bit. You take this wrench that they give you, you attach it down in this grooves, and you'll just tighten it back down when you get back to shore. This valve also has a working pin mechanism right here for air in and out. When your pin is up, air is sealed in the board. When you push down, air comes out of the board. If you push down and rotate, the pin stays down for deflating the board, so you can actually use it like an air mattress and push all your air out, roll it up. When you get all your air back pushed out of the board, you pop that pin back up and it won't expand. But this could theoretically break because it is a working mechanism. That also allows you with this wrench to unscrew the complete valve, pull it out, get a replacement, and put a replacement valve in. So it is also a serviceable component, kind of like the air pump. It's meant to be a serviceable piece of sporting equipment, not a disposable water toy that you just throw away when something breaks. Let's talk about air pressure. So this board says 12 to 15 PSI, or pounds per square inch. Most of these recreational quality boards have a maximum air pressure of 15 PSI. That is a pressure you do not want to exceed, or you risk the possibility of exploding the board, blowing out an air seam here, and that is death to your board, almost impossible to patch or to fix. So you don't want to exceed this 15 PSI. The reason this is 12 to 15 is it gives you a range. You don't have to put 15 PSI in. You can put 5, 10, 12 PSI, whatever you're comfortable with pumping. Whenever you want to stop. It also is going to depend on your body weight and how firm you want this board, how much pressure you want on the board itself. I suggest to people that I paddle with that you never go above 12 PSI on a 15 PSI board, because heat and sunlight creating heat expands air. So if you start at 12 PSI in this board in a cool morning and you get out on a hot sunny day where it's 89, 92 degrees out in sunshine, this board will swell and hit 14, 15, or 16 PSI, even though you just started at 12. You don't want to start at 15 first thing in the morning and hit 17, 18, 19 PSI in a hot day and explode your board. So give yourself a little bit of fudge room at your discretion. You know, if it's a cold, cooler time that you're paddling in the spring or fall, you can go higher PSI. If I go to the beach and it's going to be 98 degrees in the sun, out in the sand, in the water, I'll actually start at 8 to 10 PSI to give the board plenty of room to expand. We'll take our pump hose here next. It attaches very easy. It simply goes down in here and rotates. It's locked in, and now Now that we've fully inflated the board, let's take a little bit better look at the board itself. So this is Airski brand Extreme Challenge model, and it comes in 3 different color schematics. We'll call this color schematic orange because that's the color that comes on the bag. There's also a color pink and a color green. We'll take a look at those later too. So the board is marketed as 11 foot long by 34 inch wide. That is a larger than average paddleboard. So it's going to give you more stability on the water. It's going to allow you to carry extra weight. A large person and a big dog, 2 adults, a bunch of kids. The average board size the market tends to try to put folks into is 10.5 foot long by 32 inches wide. So this jumps you up to an 11 foot long by 34 inches wide. All boards are typically categorized by their length and width. They can also be categorized by the amount of volume on the inside, but we'll use a standard length and width of 11 by 34. I really like the graphics of this board. Whoever designed the graphics, I give them an A+. It's a sharp looking board. So we have our valve down at this end, up on the tail end of the boat, and the nose of the board. We have a lot of bungee space. This is all elastic bungees for putting gear attached to these D-rings. We have 3 handles on the board, which is nice. We have a handle on the nose. We have a handle here in the middle, a handle on the tail of the board. Sometimes manufacturers will leave handles out just to save some money. We also have 4 D-rings attached here in the middle of the board. D-rings like this. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Some manufacturers leave those out. I'm glad that this one included it because this allows you to attach extra gear to your board when you're out in the water. It also allows you to attach aftermarket kayak seats because basically a inflatable paddleboard is a sit-on-top kayak if you just put a seat on it and get yourself a kayak paddle. So this allows you to make a quick conversion, throwing a seat on there, use a double-bladed kayak paddle, both would be aftermarket, and you have yourself a sit-on-top kayak. So when we look at our ankle leash that's included with the board, I find it interesting that in all the kayaks and canoes I've ever paddled, I've never had an ankle leash for a safety device, but all of these paddleboards do typically include them with the manufacturer. It's kind of a carryover from the fact that these were originated from surfboards. It's a safety device. Choose if you want to use it or not. There's some places that it's definitely a good idea to use. If you're out on the coast paddling and you fall off your board and a riptide pulls your board away from you out to the open sea, or the wind is blowing out to the ocean, you might not be able to swim fast enough to catch this board. And this allows you to stay attached so that you don't have that safety risk issue. You have a string on one end, you have the Velcro on the other end to go around your ankle. You don't need to come up with a fancy knot to attach this to the board. All you've got to do is find a D-ring or a handle. You're just going to slide the string through here, open up the loop that's already there, and then pull the entire leash through it. So no retying any crazy knots. Now you're perfectly attached. This part simply will un-Velcro and goes around your ankle, and then there you go. Some people like to attach this right next to the middle of the board, right next to their feet when they're standing. Other people like to put this up towards the front of them. Some like to attach it behind them. There's no right or wrong way, whatever you're comfortable with. I flipped our board upside down now so we can take a look at the graphics on the bottom of the board. Very nice graphics. Again, they could have just left this plain, but instead they did go ahead and put graphics on it, which looks sharp. Let's go down here to our fin box and check out our fins. So this type of fin box is called a US, or Universal Standard Fin Box. It's a long, thin slit, and your fin actually goes down into that slit. This is a typical surfboard type fin box. It's been around since the beginning of time on all surfboards. The nice thing about this is that this fin can be replaced with aftermarket options. If you go on Amazon or anywhere else aftermarket, if you don't like this plastic fin or you break it, you can get an upgraded fiberglass fin. You can get fins that are short for shallow water. You can get fins that are long and angled, so if you want them to shed weeds, if you're paddling in water with lots of weedy growth in the water down in the mangroves in Florida. You can get super long fins for extreme tracking. So lots and lots of options for fins that you can buy if you don't like this or you want to replace it. You have a screw at the front. You have this little metal peg at the back. We look down into our fin box. You've got the screw attachment point in this long slot. So we take our fin, we drop the little metal parts in like this. Our fin goes down like this. We line up the screw right above the nut down at the bottom, and we screw it down hand tight until it's firmly attached in the fin box. Just hand tightens enough. To wrap things up here, we have the Airski Extreme Challenge Model Inflatable Standup Paddleboard. This model comes in 3 color variations, which we will call green, pink, and orange. They're all 11 by 34, 11 foot in length, 34 inches in width. They all have the identical components in the kits. The colors of the components do match the board and the schematic of the board, which is nice. They're sharp boards. I want to thank you for checking out my YouTube unboxing and review video. I want to ask that you would do me a favor and like and subscribe. You'll also find my videos on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. If you want to check out some more reviews and videos of other different brands of paddleboards that I've been able to have the opportunity to enjoy and get out in the water, we'll have videos of all 3 of these on the water very, very soon as a follow-up to this review. On any of the social media platforms, if you search Surfs Up 4785, you will find all kinds of videos come up that I've put out there on all kinds of different boats and kayaks and canoes and paddleboards. Feel free to. Thanks for checking us out, guys. Have fun on the water. Enjoy these great stand-up paddleboards. They are a lot of fun. Many blessings to you and your family.